If you've got a product idea and you want to start selling on Amazon, but you're not quite sure what to do, watch this video. Okay, everybody, Stephen Key here. And once again, I always say I have a special guest, but John, you've been in my life for a long time, so I would consider you a friend.
I'd hope so. You went to my wedding, so we better be friends.
You're, and we've
Yeah.
known each other for how many years? Oh,
Uh, Around. Oh no, I was gonna say 10, but that's when I think I started working for you about 10 years ago. But I
yeah.
was a student almost 20 years ago. So
Well, you
yeah,
were a
it's
student
been a
and then
while.
you helped us kind of get our business started. You were like the
Yeah.
front guy and did a great job, but then you left us, John.
Yeah. You guys taught me too well.
I know we teach you to lead, but I want everybody to know the reason why John's here. He used to help us at inventRight, but he started doing something pretty remarkable, and that's what we're going to talk about today. You sell products on Amazon, and you're pretty darn good at it, aren't you?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I try my best, and yeah, I've been able to make a modest income to support my family, and that's, I'm living the dream. I'm very
Oh,
fortunate.
okay. All right. I
Yeah.
want to, okay, let's get into this a little bit because when did you start at the very beginning? When did you realize you wanted to sell product on Amazon?
Yeah, yeah. So um, I started out, and it was, I think being within InventRight, um, I, licensed an idea, and then I actually went to a company or a seller for that product, and they said, "Oh, I said, what other products are you looking for?" And they said, "Well, bachelor party products, because these guys will get sashes that say bachelorette on it, and they scratch off the ETT at the end." And so I was like, this is a dumb idea. Really, guys are going to wear a sash that says Bachelor on it. And I was like, all right. I checked it out. I decided to manufacture it myself because it was a low enough um, investment. I mean, it was very low. I was able to get 1,000 sashes for like, very cheap from China. Um, and so I ended up doing that. This was a long time ago. This is over 10 years ago. So I was able to sell some to a distributor, and then I sold some on eBay and maybe some other marketplaces that were big back then. I put it on Amazon a long time ago, and I didn't know what I was doing. And Amazon wasn't quite as big at that time. And I think I got like 2 sales on there, and I was like, all right, this isn't a good channel for me. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm going on Amazon and I'm looking for, I don't know why, I just searched like bachelor party or something like that just to look. And I saw an exact knockoff of my product. And it had my listing images, it had everything was the exact same of what it was. And I was like, why would someone knock off a product that's not successful? And so I ended up doing a really big deep dive into it. And that's kind of what started the beginning of like, okay, I can sell on Amazon. Is so because I had the copyright and all of that on my product, I was able to take control of the listing. A big thing I didn't know was the difference between manufactured fulfilled and Amazon fulfilled. So I figured out that I can send my product to Amazon, have them do the distribution, and that's a huge advantage to getting a higher ranking listing.
But John,
So
who was manufacturing it at the very beginning? What do you know about manufacturing? Who was doing it for you?
I didn't. I think I found the person on Alibaba, and
Okay.
I've actually developed a very good relationship with them. They've really gone above and beyond. I think that I know they're more of a middleman. They charge me a markup, but
Okay.
honestly, I think having someone that you trust, that you worked with for a long time, I'm happy giving them a percent for
Got it. Okay.
of everything.
All right. So, John,
Yeah.
you're working for us at InventRight. You're helping us out, but you're doing this
Yep.
on the side. You got a side
Yep.
gig, which I really
Yep.
love.
Yep.
This thing starts to really change, right? So, how do you educate yourself? Did you take classes? Was it YouTube, or did you just make mistakes along the way? Because you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, all of that. So being a former inventRight student, I know you guys help license product ideas, but there is so much in common. And honestly, that's what I feel like my strong suit is the product development phase
Okay.
learning it from you guys. Everything. Yeah. So, I mean, I was spending hours at night, every night. My wife's like, you gonna hang out with me? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I got to put time into this. And you know how it is, right? It's like you're building something up. It wasn't successful. I was selling a little bit. I knew there was something there.
Okay.
I was making a tiny bit of money, but nothing near where I could leave my job and just, and support my wife and have her leave her big time sales job. But it was really just that drive. And so making mistakes, I got like, yeah, watching YouTube videos, getting coaching along the way,
Okay.
um, making those mistakes, just like licensing, you got to be really careful with who you hire to you got to vet people really well. Um, and just, yeah, yeah, just going through that process and seeing what works and what
Okay.
doesn't work and trying different things. So,
So, how
yeah.
many products are you currently selling on Amazon today?
I have around 150 SKUs, and I have a lot of different niches that I'm in. So the
Okay.
diversion safes, the that was
Which
kind
one
of
is this? Because
a
this is what
spinoff. That's a diversion safe. Yeah. So that is the outlet safe. That is actually the third iteration. And so, yep, you put that in the wall. It looks just a decoy. No one's going to notice it. Maybe hide it behind some furniture, and then store anything you want in there. It was funny. I was trying to take product pictures for it, and I was putting stuff inside of it, and I was struggling because it kept like I couldn't make it look full. Like I kept putting stuff inside. I was like, how much does this thing hold? Like I didn't realize, I was putting like wads of dollar bills in there and jewelry and all this stuff. And in the product picture, you want it to look like a lot of value is coming at, like, pop stuff's popping out at you. And I'm like, man, this thing is a lot bigger than my previous versions.
So this is a category, and you have a
Yes.
lot of products within this category. What's the
Yes.
category? What is it called again?
Diversion safe.
Okay,
So
and we're going to
so
put this up on the screen, guys, so you can see all of it.
so something that looks like an ordinary product, right? Like this hairbrush
Yeah.
that probably more useful for you, but uh, unscrew the top here. Something, if you're at a hotel or you're on a cruise or something like that, you unscrew the top, you can put in
Okay.
just some cash, things like that, something that you just want to keep private. And but it's also functional too, right? It's functional. No one's going to think like, hey, I should check this. Whereas a regular safe, someone's going to know there's something valuable in
So how
there.
many products do you have in that product line?
And that's a good question. I think around 40. I keep developing different ones, working on
Okay, so
different
let's talk about
aspects of it.
developing, like the hairbrush.
Yeah.
Was that your idea or somebody else's, or you just said, "Hey, you're dreaming at night. I'm going to do a hairbrush that has the top that opens up. I can put some cash in there." How'd you come up with that idea?
So, more, kind of a variety of ways. Some are things that do already exist, and
Okay.
I offer better customer service because people don't know how things work, and so I'm showing how things work. The outlet safe, that was a lot of designing. That was multiple molds,
Okay.
$10,000 plus in that. Working with the manufacturer overseas in China to do that. So that was something that was really developed a
So
big
John, when
time
you have an
in-house.
idea, what do you show them? Do you show them a sketch, or do you have to do CAD drawings? How do you do it?
Luckily, um, luckily, yeah, I don't get too much into CAD. I know that sometimes you have to do that, but with mine, I just kind of tell them what I want, and they're able to do a lot of that stuff for me. And sometimes I'll have to send them pictures or prototypes, mail them prototypes to China. But I feel like their engineers are really good over there. If you
Okay.
show them something, they're smart. They get it right away. And there will be going back and forth and making sure that things are good. But if you're with someone good, like that's they're
And
it's not too hard to work things out
you're
if
with the
if
same
you have a good
people,
manufacturer.
and you're with the same people now than you were 10 years ago?
For my party products, yeah, for the safes, those ones are a little bit newer, so that's been I mean about 4 years or so.
And so you
Yeah.
find people on Alibaba and then you build a relationship. Do you talk on Zoom? How do you
um
communicate?
no, that's what's crazy. I don't think any of them. I've some of them in the past I've talked to on, I think, Skype,
Okay.
but it's all through text, meaning email or I think like WhatsApp. I
That's
think WhatsApp, yeah, or WeChat, one of those apps on the phone. So it'll pop up. It's because it's China, right? So
it.
it'll pop up at like 7 or 8 at night. I'm getting my kids down, and it'll be like, "Hey, Jonathan, how's this order going?" Or I need some information from you. So another reason why working at night is
Okay.
happens more often because I'm getting those messages on my
So
phone
when
or
do you
through
pay them
email.
some money?
What's that?
When do you pay the money? Do you pay it up front to give them a deposit? How does that all work?
Yeah, usually pay up front, and typically I try to pay up front and then like maybe 50% up front and then 50% once the goods are sent.
Okay.
So there's a lot of trust. I mean, I do it in different ways, but one of my guys, I wire him the money and he could easily just say see you later.
Really?
From what I've heard though, I've actually heard the Chinese government is pretty strict on those sellers because they do want a good reputation. And
Okay.
I've heard that if they try to do something and you're able to kind of track them down, you tell the government, like they're pretty strict on that from what I've heard.
So you
So
haven't been burned at all yet?
knock on wood, I
No.
would say, yeah, I can't not
Okay.
no. But I stick with the people. If someone treats me well, I'm gonna stick with them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you said there's two different ways. There's ways that you ship it or Amazon fulfills it, correct?
Hmm. Yeah.
And which one do you do?
So I almost do primarily FBA, fulfilled by Amazon.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so
It's
the factories over there ship it straight to Amazon for you. You don't even see it or touch it.
no, sometimes it depends. For the initial order, I like getting it first. So if I
Okay.
have a new product, I like to have some shipped to me because I like to have some on hand. I want to take some photos with it. I want to play with it, make sure it looks good.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, no, for the bulk of it, yes, I do send it direct to from China to Amazon.
So who does all your photographs for your website? Who makes all these products look pretty on your website? Who does that?
Well, I take the photographs and then I send it to my VA. I've hired people in the past on Fiverr to do it as well.
Okay.
Right now, though, Stephen, I'm really excited because I'm working with ChatGPT a bit more, and I feel like that's going to really like knock it out of the park with updating my images and listing and just making
Like,
it look a lot
give me
more
an
dynamic.
example of using that helps.
I think it's just consolidating an image, a brand image across multiple
Mm,
SKUs, meaning that if you click on one safe and then you click on another safe,
okay.
not only is the text all similar, but also the pictures, it has like a similar feel to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So how do you find that particular AI program to do that?
You got me, Steve. I don't know. I'm messing around with ChatGPT and I've been blown away with it. And
Really?
I've been using it for product designs too, as far as like make this
Okay.
cool image for me. So
Okay.
I'll have to tell you more about that. I messed around
Okay.
with Canva Pro.
Okay.
It wasn't quite as good, but I've been kind of amazed. I don't know. I don't overthink things, Steven. I'm not overly techie or anything like that. I'm just a lucky guy that somehow things work out for. It's like you work really hard at stuff and then, a couple years later,
You figure it out.
somehow it works. So hopefully, yeah, with the chat, so far
Okay.
chat GPT has been very impressive is what I'd say.
It's amazing, actually. And
Yeah.
there's all these different types of programs. So, all right, let's get back to selling on Amazon for a minute because that's not an easy animal,
Yeah.
right? How important it is it to have multiple products, the whole product line. Is that important?
I'm a very big fan of it. I think you can get away with just a one type of product. It's there's always catches to things, right? If you have a strong presence off of Amazon and you can drive some traffic to Amazon,
Okay.
then I think you could have one product. But that is a big suggestion that if someone ever has a product on Amazon and it's somewhat successful, add more products on that line because
Got
it
it.
gives you more of a brand reputation, allows you to cross sell. It just really allows you to promote multiple things.
Yeah, you had mentioned to me earlier that having a product line that kind of
Yeah.
looks like
Oh yeah.
looks and feels kind of similar. It looks like a brand. You have a brand. People trust that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want people to think just because they have one big product idea they can't do it on Amazon, but it's much stronger if you have more.
Okay, great. How do
Yeah,
you determine price, John, at the end of the day?
a lot of factors. You got to look at what else is on the market, how the perceived value of it, you know. But you also have to know that being a US manufacturer is that you don't want to compete on price. You want to compete on value, meaning
Hmm,
you know, these Chinese manufacturers, and you can get apps to see this, and usually you can just tell by looking at the listing. But you can get a free app. I think there's like a free Helium 10 app that you can search on Amazon, and it will actually show you where all of the country of origin from the for the sellers. And so the Chinese sellers, they're okay with razor thin margins. They can get away with like insane margins that we would never even want. 4% to
mhm.
7%, that's too much of a headache, but they'll take that. So you don't want to focus on that low end. You want to focus on more of the premium type of products. And we're all
How-
customers, right? You can tell like, okay, is this a cheap product? And sometimes that's fine.
okay.
Or, you know, are you like really into you know, you can see my hamburgers here. I'm really into to grilling, right? So I'm not most products I want the premium version of that grilling product. Now, if it's just something, you know, one-time use thing, maybe I'm fine with the cheaper version.
So, John, let's talk about how do people find you on Amazon? Do you have to
Yeah,
pay for them to find you, or because there's a lot of products on Amazon? How do people find you?
yeah. Well, Amazon, so it's a keyword search engine.
Mhm.
That's a big thing for people to understand. And yeah, you got to rank for keywords, and there's a lot of different strategies for that. As far as paying, well, in a way, yes, because you typically want to do ads,
Okay,
pay-per-click ads on there to increase just your organic ranking.
okay.
Um, but I mean, technically, you don't have to spend anything. I have some products that I don't spend hardly anything on ads, and you're able to rank. But it's about how good your product is, how interested people are in buying it, the reviews, the price, and all that.
I know there's a lot of people out there that will help you with your ads. Is that someone you uses, or you just do that yourself?
I've done it myself, but now I have a VA. Yeah, I think it's like most things, you want to know enough that when you hire someone, you know if they're actually doing a good job or not. And so
Got it.
that's how I feel.
How'd you find
Yeah.
that person to help you?
Trial and error. I found them on Upwork, and luckily it's they've been really good.
So
Yeah.
you're a one-man band, but not really.
Yeah, I'm a one person. Well, my wife helps a bit. I mean, she's watching the kids, so that's more
Okay.
her thing. Um, she helps with some of the design. I want to get, you always got to give credit to your wife, right? But yeah, I have a lot of people supporting me, multiple VAs, you know,
Okay.
manufacturers that are really up on
Got
it,
it.
and just people that I can reach out to, mentors like yourself that help guide me.
Well, John, talk about, so you do strictly Amazon. Do you do TikTok shop, or do you do Walmart.com? I mean, do you do anything else besides Amazon?
I've been getting on both of those. Yeah, I'm still developing it on TikTok Shop, still trying to figure that out a bit. And Walmart, same thing with Walmart. I did go to a Walmart seller summit in San Francisco, and they're coming for Amazon. They're definitely trying to increase their presence. And you know how things are in life. Amazon's not going to be the top dog forever. And if they are, they're still gonna lose some market share over
Sure.
time. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to diversify.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, right now Amazon's just it's still king for me. And
So
and
tell me,
I gotta tell you, a lot of people are just saying how it's getting harder and harder to sell on Amazon.
yes.
I've seen that a bit, but I think maybe it's just my niche. I've still found success, but they're definitely throwing in more obstacles. So it's harder to get into selling now than it was, say, 4 years ago.
And
But
what
I don't think
obstacle?
it's impossible.
Yeah, what obstacles are those, John?
A lot more fees, things like that. They have shipment fees so that or placement fees so that if you're sending product in and if you don't do it in an exact right way, they're going to charge you a fee for that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, they just yeah just updating fees and you know, tighter competition, things
Got
like
it.
that. Increased ad cost is another big
Okay.
one too.
John, let's talk about some of your other product lines. You
Mhm.
mentioned the things to hide your goodies in. What else? What other types of product lines do you carry?
Yeah, so like I was saying before, is that the bachelor party products,
Okay.
and the whole niche was that the women get something, but the men don't really have any fun things for
Okay.
them. And I like to keep it on the classier side. Um, Actually, I think I have something right here. Yeah, so I mean, just kind of this silly captain's hat, and it just says groom on the side of there,
Nice.
and
Okay.
people love it. Who would have thought? That's one of them. I also have some baby shower decorations geared towards men,
Okay.
um, things like that. So it's just stuff for that stuff. I kind of just throw it up there, and I've learned enough about it that I can get a feeling for what's going to work and not work. But for
Yeah, I
me,
like your.
it's a lot of trial and error.
Well, it's funny. I like your ideas. They're kind of like mine. They put a smile on your face,
Yeah,
and they're clever, and they're not going to solve the world's problems. Okay, but they're simple and they're fun and put a smile on people's faces. Last question.
mhm,
Let's talk about negotiations with your suppliers.
mhm.
When they give you a first price, do you negotiate that down? How do you do it? Is there a strategy to that, or you just take the first thing they throw at you?
This is probably terrible, but I don't do too much negotiating. It
Okay.
just on my I bet people are really surprised at that. Like I said, one supplier is that I've been using them for such a long time. Every now and then I might ask for a discount or something
Okay.
like that. If I have a certain product that the margin is just not working, I'll just be honest with them. I'll just tell them like, look, this is costing me too much. Can you bring it down at all? But I think it's just
Okay.
because I'm able to get good margins on my products. I know what else is selling out there, and the problem is if you're I don't want to argue over pennies,
Right.
and I get it, pennies add up, but it's like
Okay.
not really. I would rather that we're all happy than to
Right.
try and like really hammer them and try to come down on the price. But they've just been fair with me. So if they were really trying to jack the price up on me, maybe I'd be a little bit, come back a little bit more. I
Yeah.
think I've just been lucky and just found people that have just offered good prices to begin with. I mean,
Nice.
I couldn't believe it. There's some stuff where it's like, you look at competitors and I always make sure it's still good quality, but I'm like, you're half the price of a competitor. So I can't complain on that.
Good.
Um, yeah, I don't really hammer
Okay.
them
John, is there
on
anything I've
that.
missed? If someone was going to start out for the first time and they wanted to start to be an Amazon seller, what would you recommend?
I would say don't spend a lot of money on it. Make all your mistakes with the product. Just anticipate it just to fail. Like just get out there and just say, I'm going to try something. I'm going to throw it out there. But I think that's kind of a big thing is that, say you're like, oh, I want to invest 200,000. I'm going to take out a loan on my house. I'm going to invest $500,000. It's like, ooh,
Right.
that's that's a big risk for a learning thing, so, learning curve. You know what I'm saying? Like your first product's probably not going to work. Use that as an experiment. Use that as okay. I'm going to pay a few $1,000 to kind of learn the ropes. And now
Okay.
for my next idea, once I've dialed it in a bit more, then I'm can start spending more money.
Got it.
Yeah.
Start slow, start simple, learn before you start getting into a bigger situation.
Yeah.
John, thank you very much. I I think it's wonderful you figured this out. I think it's not easy. Congratulations. I knew you were a smart guy the first time I met you. So good job.
Yeah, I appreciate that. If I could just pitch one thing, if anyone does have a successful product and needs help on Amazon, I'm definitely open to that, and they can find me on LinkedIn.
I will put your information down below. You guys, if you want more information, you got a great product, you want to talk to John, all his information is going to be down below. John, thank you very much for coming on. And thank you for sharing some of your tips and strategies.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Okay, you've got a great idea, but you're not quite sure exactly what to do. And you want the pros to do it, and you want the pros to do all of it. Please consider reaching out to us on Gateway. where we handle everything for you. We will find those right companies, we'll find those right people, and make sure your product is pitched correctly to get the licensing deal. It's called Gateway. Please check it out.